Good afternoon to you, brother.
Good afternoon to you, brother. And good afternoon to all of you fine people out there watching us. We appreciate you being here and hanging out with the Basement Brothers.
On a glorious spring break day.
It is officially spring.
Spring break.
Well, it's also officially spring,
True.
brother. Last time we were streaming, it was not spring. Hello, Zach.
Yeet.
Yeet. Yeet. Glad to have you here. Today, we are going to be talking about... What, Joe? What are we talking about?
Our fears, our failures, and different field trips we have been on.
That's right.
Yep.
That's completely right. We're talking about all those things.
Such a smooth manner.
It's like just a buttery smooth voice over there, bro.
Should I keep up the
ASMR? ASMR?
Little lip smacking.
That little lip smacking in there. All right. Excuse me as my my voice. I have been hit with that spring weather and the allergies that come with it. So I'm a little congested today.
I kind of felt a little phlegm in my throat this morning too. So.
Oh yeah.
I was kind of feeling it last night.
It's just a little bit. I mean, really bad on Sunday. For those of you that have watched my video from this week, I was very low voiced on Sunday because that's when it hit me the hardest. So that was my weigh-in day. But yeah, I was not singing very well that day either. That was a rough one.
Yeah.
But also, for those of you that don't know, Matter of Choice released its chapter on like late Monday night. Did you read it yet, Joe?
No.
That eye roll, classic brother right there. How much? What's the last chapter you read?
1.
You read the first chapter? Dude, you realize there's 6 out right now.
I know.
Come on, Joe. Get with it. You gotta vote, man. You gotta be my support here.
Well, I've gotta make a board for a board game this week.
A board game, huh?
Yeah.
Was that like your spring break homework?
Yeah. Well, kind of. So it's this project for English, and I told my group I would make the board for the board game over spring break, and if I don't do it, then my partners will be really mad at me.
Yeah, rightfully so.
Yeah.
So before we jump into our first topic of the day today, or our first, when should we do? We should do 50-cent feature should maybe be like mid. Yeah. So we'll do a random fact
Yeet.
from Joe before we continue on here. Just as while Joe's getting that ready, he's gonna just pick a book here to take one out of. I just wanted to let you guys know that if you're new to the channel, go ahead and leave a like on this video because it really helps us out. And definitely subscribe. Also, if you want to get notifications for when we're going live, make sure to hit that bell button because YouTube has updated their policies and given us a little more information on how that works. So you actually won't get notified if you don't have that bell clicked of when we go live. So make sure you have that clicked, and with that, you'll get the notifications every time we upload and every time that we go live. So that way you won't miss a single episode. Right, Joe? Yeah. Well, you want to give us that the random fact? I know you don't care what page, Zach. Joe informed me. He's like, Zach told me. Zach told me he doesn't care what book. But always page. Is it always page 194?
No, it isn't. But
this is a different page every time.
Before I read that, Zach, I already found a good page for it, so I'm just gonna use this instead of that. We'll save that for the next random fact. Okay.
Yes. At the end of the stream, we'll do one more random
Remember
fact.
page 194.
194 for the end of the stream. Remind us if you're still here, Zach.
Okay.
All right, go for it. Random fact.
Okay, so this is 8 things that were invented or discovered by accident.
Okay. What 8 things we got?
Okay, so there's Play-Doh, fireworks, potato chips, the Slinky, Post-it notes, silly putty, microwave ovens, and cornflakes.
Cornflakes were by accident?
Apparently, I can read more into the story on this.
Wow.
In 1894, Dr. John Harvey Kellogg was the superintendent of the Battle Creek Sanitarium in Michigan. He and his brother with Will Keith Kellogg were Seventh-day Adventists, and they were searching for wholesome foods to feed patients that also complied their religion's strict vegetarian diet. Will accidentally left some boiled wheat sitting out, and it was stale by the time he returned. Rather than throwing it away, the brothers sent it through the rollers, hoping to make long sheets of dough, but they got flakes instead. They toasted the flakes, which were a big hit with patients, and patented them under the name Granos. Brothers experimented with other grains, including corn, in 1906. Will created the Kellogg's company to sell the cornflakes. On principle, John refused to join the company because Will lowered the health benefits of the cereal by adding sugar.
Wow. That was a riveting story, Joe.
All of these have really long descriptions of how they were accidents.
Oh, man.
Even the Post-it note was accident.
That makes sense. I could see where that you would be like, hey, this is actually really useful. You know, like it accidentally got like glue on the back of it or something. I'm guessing that's how it goes.
Probably.
And then it's stuck, and they're like, hey, look, I can
Mark.
pull it off. And Mark is here.
Yep.
Good to have you in chat there, Mark. We had a good time playing Far Cry released the other day. Far Cry 5.
Far Cry 5, yeah.
So that was
hey, that goes
a good
along
time.
with our theme for the day, the letter F.
Yes.
Far Cry
Fears, Failures, and Field Trips.
And Far Cry.
And Far Cry. Don't forget Far Cry. So we'll probably be playing some more of that this afternoon. That'll be some fun times. But thank you, Joe, for that random fact.
Oh, and for those that were wondering, that was the Book of Unusual Knowledge.
Oh. How unusual.
It was rather unusual, wasn't it?
Boom.
It isn't unusual.
Yeah, so with that, we can move on to our first topic. Just a reminder, if you'd like to leave any questions you have for us in the comments, feel free. We'll get to those as we discuss the topics. So let's roll with the first one, Joe. Fears. It's kind of a broad topic, but do you want to go with like just? Do we want to do our worst fear first,
Sure.
or do you have like smaller fears that you're willing to share?
I really only have like one fear that I can think of off the top of my
Honestly,
head. I'm sure I have more than one fear, but I only have one that I can think of.
One fear, brother.
Only
That's
one
it.
that I can think of off the top of my head.
Okay. Give us your one fear then. Since you're so fearless, go first.
This is gonna sound kind of strange, but I am terrified of bees, or anything that's like yellow and black. I guess any bug that looks yellow and black, even closely resembles a bee. I'm terrified of it.
I have known this for so long. I'm so glad you're now sharing with the world.
You
it's
want
fantastic.
something interesting that I learned about this?
What's that?
The phobia for the fear of bees, it actually goes by two different names. One of them is based off of the Latin base, and the other one's based off the Greek base. They're apophobia and melissophobia.
That is great knowledge to
They both mean the same
have.
thing, the fear of bees.
The fear of bees. Two of them.
Bees.
You see, you got a friend in the chat.
Yeah.
They're afraid of them too.
Bugs in general, even butterflies.
Butterflies freak you out, Rebecca? Oh my goodness.
I can understand that, though.
How do you understand that? I don't get butterflies.
Well, think about it. They're like little... Well, if bugs in general freak you out, I mean, it is a type of bug, and they kind of resemble a bug,
But
too,
to me,
so.
butterflies they're pretty. Like, they don't look like they can do much harm to you.
Yeah, but they also closely resemble moths. And think about moths. They're ugly.
So just because something's ugly, it's dangerous? Is that how you're making this up, Joe?
No, but it can make you fear it.
I'm not afraid of moths. I don't know about any of you
I'm not
guys.
afraid of moths either, but I can understand if you are afraid of them.
Oh, man.
In fact...
They're ugly. See, she's just like,
the wings are pretty when they aren't near me.
Oh, man.
That's let's go with the F and fear theme. He's afraid of certain fresh fruit.
I get it. I get it. See, yeah, so apples.
Warrior wasps. They're not black. They're black and blue.
Take them to Costa Rican rainforest where there are warrior wasps. Oh, my goodness. Joe, that would be your worst nightmare, wouldn't it?
Well, they're not yet black and yellow, but still, I'd probably still be afraid of them. But...
All I know is Joe, like,
I'm terrified of them.
I wonder if you're so terrified of them because of your childhood experiences.
I think I am. I think that's partially why.
I think you had so many bad experiences as a kid.
Because when I was younger, okay, so I know they're hornets and they're different than bees.
They're very different, yes.
But to a little kid who's going through these things, they all are the same. They have the black and yellow stripes. So, like, and that's all you notice when you're that little. So, like, we would have this grill set out outside of our, outside of the door to our sunroom, or, like, to go outside.
Oh, yeah.
And when I would ever go outside, I would forget about it because there was a hornet's nest in the grill. And every time I went out there, they stung me. I got stung probably close to about 3 times.
Why didn't you just avoid the grill?
I tried to after that, but then... So I would literally like, go through the garage instead of... I would go around it afterwards. But it was literally like, right outside the door.
Although, no, I do give you that. It was there for a long time. And I remember actually the day that we dealt with it. It was quite a battle against these bees. We got like... Or not bees, hornets.
Hornets.
Because we got the hornet spray. And I think we downed like a can and a half.
Yeah.
Of hornet spray. It was crazy. So...
But yeah,
Is that Zach talking about server stuff?
I think... Well, I have a music bot that runs in the Discord. So...
Oh, and that's based on your computer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Well, I have one interesting story from your childhood that I can talk about with your fear of bees.
Are you going to bring up when we were prepping for Hayward?
Do you mind if I bring this story up? Would you do a reenactment for us?
No.
Oh, come on, Joe.
You can do a reenactment, but I'm not.
Do a reenactment for us.
All I can say is that was the fastest I've ever run in my life, I think.
It was maybe the fastest, but I don't know if it was the most efficient. So,
yeah.
Okay, so here we go. I'll lead into this here. So every year we go on a trip up north to Hayward, and we were prepping. I think I was hauling out stuff from the house.
Yeah.
And Joe was prepping the boat, right? Or you were hooking it up or doing something with the van, I think. You were on the other side of the yard.
Yeah, I was doing something with the boat.
And as he was prepping that stuff, I come out of the house carrying a basket. And I look, or I all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I hear this shrill scream. Like, we're talking like a, and it goes on for quite some time. And so I look over, and emerging from behind the van, I see this kid coming out. And here, I'll switch to the full camera for this one. You ready? You ready for this? So from out of nowhere, I see this kid emerge going, like flapping his arms like a madman. And I didn't know quite what to think of it. I really didn't. I'm like, what in the world could make him this scared? He runs all the way to the house like that, flapping his arms like this. How is this efficient? How is this fast?
I don't know. I guess this is my instinct to like run like this.
Just screaming, just wailing all the way into the house. And I'm looking around, just wondering what would have caused such trauma. I go back inside, and there's Joe just like sprawled out on the floor. Because I think you laid down on the floor, right? Or
no,
was it the couch?
I went to the bathroom and I ran cold water over it because it's on my finger.
Oh, did it actually sting you?
Yeah, it was right here.
Oh, I didn't realize it actually stung you.
Yeah, it
Okay,
did.
so it stung you once. So you ran all the way to the bathroom.
I ran to the bathroom and I was running cold water over it. In the bathroom.
So he was running cold water over it. But I went in and I asked you. I was like, what happened? And you're like, there was a bee. I was just in shock that you could be caused so much fright from such a little thing. Because how old were you when this happened?
It was about...
It wasn't that long ago, was it?
I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago. Maybe
3 or 4?
3 to 5, somewhere in that zone.
Which, like, you're close to almost 10.
That would have been about 10, yeah.
Almost 10 years
11,
old.
12, in that range.
I mean, I get it. It's your fear. I understand. It's okay. I have fears too. Although I do have fears. I'm just trying to think of like what is the
Everybody
biggest.
is afraid of something.
Yeah. A big one for me used to be heights.
Yeah.
I used to be really afraid of heights. I had to kind of overcome that, though, when I did lighting for the PAC, because you go up on top of that catwalk up there, and it's a metal grate floor above all of those chairs. So there is, like, there's only air between, well, I guess there's the metal grate, but you can see straight through it. And you're, how high up is that, you think?
Probably
In the
20
PAC.
feet.
Yeah, it's high. It's more than 20.
I'm bad
I
at
think.
estimating distance, but it's at least.
Well,
20.
think about it. I'm 6.
Yeah.
I'm 6 feet. So you stack me up how many times?
A little over 3 times. Yeah, probably about 20 feet.
More than 3 times. You see how tall that place is?
True.
Anyway,
It's tall.
It's high up. Let's just put it that way. So I had to overcome that fear pretty early on because I was in high school.
Yeah.
That I was doing lighting. So, but I used to be terrified of heights. I think my mom is the same way, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I'm sharing other people's fears now. Sorry, Mom. But no, like, we used to go on trips to where they would have watchtowers and stuff in the forest, you know?
Yeah.
And even those, I was nervous on those. Those were high up.
I remember
I was not too comfortable.
when you were painting the wall of the house over there, and you were on the ladder, and I just remember you all of a sudden you looked down and you started like panicking.
There we go. I think I found. So yeah, no, heights is one of them. That was one of the biggest ones. It's not as much anymore. Although this one's getting better too. I've noticed that as I lose weight, this one's getting better. Ice. Oh. Terrified. I used to be so terrified of ice. This year was better. And I think I was so terrified of it because of my weight. As you can imagine, if you're heavier, falling as a big person, you're going to inflict much more damage on yourself or have the possibility to, say, like, throw out a knee or blow out a knee or break an arm, break a finger, you know, whatever. Your chances go up, obviously, because you're dropping with more mass. You have more weight that you're dropping on. So ice terrified me. And I think it was from watching shows too. I would see people or hear of people slipping on ice and hitting their head or you know, something like that. And it's just over, you know, like head trauma is bad.
Yeah,
so that
it is.
That scared me. I guess ice was a big fear of mine for a while. I'm still a little uneasy on it. Another reason it was a big fear for me, we had some kids in elementary school. I don't know if you guys did this at all, but they thought it was so cool to run and then slide on the ice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it makes you look cool, I guess. But we had one kid who did that, and this was, I think it was starting to melt. So he was sliding on the ice. So, like, imagine my hand here as being the ice. He's sliding on it right here in the ice. They didn't realize it, but there was a small pebble or something that was sticking through. So his shoes caught it, and he just, boom, face planted it right into the ground. He knocked out, like, almost all of his front teeth. It was terrible. It was awful. Yeah. It's bad stuff.
Head trauma. Yeah.
Falling in... Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, falling is not a fun thing.
Down anything.
But, I'm trying to think what else I would have. I don't really have any other... Like, obviously, getting burned is pretty bad. That would be probably my third. See, I mean, mine are all just kind of well justified, I guess. Or not well justified. What's the word I'm looking for?
They have a reason.
But they're not, like, I'm not
sense.
super terrified of these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think they're just generalizations
fears,
of what
not
I'm afraid
phobias.
of. Yeah. I don't know if I have something that I'm, like, super, like, that I just couldn't deal with. You know?
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I know you run away from every bee you see. Or you freeze. You freeze in fear. So what's your thing? Is it fight or flight? Do you think it's...
Well, they're actually...
Or do you freeze?
I freeze.
Because there's three, right? Fight, flight, or freeze?
Okay, so... It depends on really what it is. Like, if I'm a bees, unless they're like coming at me quickly, I'll usually just like, if they're just around me, I'll be like frozen in place, not moving. I might talk or like.
Yeah,
like
you
this.
freeze with that.
Yeah, but if I'm like standing, like let's say if a bee actually stings me, then I'm going to run away. I'm gonna flying out of there. But like when you come around the corner and try to scare me, sometimes I'll put my fists up instinctually. So it really depends on the situation.
Yeah.
If it's like a sudden thing, like if something just appears out of nowhere, then my instinct is to like ready up,
fight back. Get ready to fight back.
But like if it's like something that I see coming at me and it's coming quickly, then I'll run. And if it's something that's just around me that feel like a bee,
yeah.
If it's just something that I see slowly around me, then I'll just kind of stay frozen, not move.
You're so funny around bees. All right. Well, I think that basically covers our fears. And with that, I'm thinking it's time. It is time, Joe, for the 50-cent feature.
Do you have the thing on the screen right now?
Yes, I do. It's the 50-cent feature, folks. It is time. It is that time that you've all been waiting for, right?
Time of the week.
That time of the week for a 50-cent feature. This week's 50-cent feature is... Yeah, get ready for this one.
Cringiest
this
one
is
yet.
This is gonna become a classic, just like the mountain. What was our mountain called? See, you've already forgotten.
Nelpa.
Nelpa.
I told you the cup would help us.
Mount Nelpa. Well, this is a new all-time low for 50-cent features. What did we give that one? We gave that last one a 6, right? Out of 20.
Yeah.
All right.
I gave it a.
I think it's more than that, but
you gave it a 4 and I gave it a 2.
Yeah. All right. Well, this one is Ultimate Spinner Simulator. That's right, folks. Unstress yourself with Ultimate Spinner Simulator.
It looks so cringy.
It looks so good, Joe. I don't know what you're talking about. Here, we got to bring up the store page real quick, read some reviews, and then we'll jump right into it here.
You know, I remember when fidget spinners were super in and hip. Like, we used to like bring them to school like a year ago and just play with them in class.
Dude, that's not that long ago.
Sure, it's like a year ago, but still. I still have both of my fidget spinners. They're upstairs. One's American flag and the other one's Green Bay
All right,
Packers.
here is the store page.
In your style.
There is no apparent review on it that I can see. As far as there's 7 reviews, but there's not enough reviews to actually give it, you know, like the generally positive, mixed, or
well,
negative.
Let's go into the reviews ourselves and see what we.
Yeah,
think.
let's see the 7 reviews real quick.
7 user recommended, not recommended. Recommended.
Dude, it's got more recommended, right?
It's got 3 not recommended and 4 recommended.
That's pretty good.
Something like this.
Simple and relaxing, delivers exactly what it promises. Does this game have a goal though? Let's see what because we didn't read the about.
Spin it in the spinner mode with different spinner styles and different floors.
No, you got to read this part here.
Oh. Well, let's check out the game.
Whether you just want to unstress yourself or just spin some spinners, with Ultimate Spinner Simulator, you can do that. So let's give it a try.
Let's open this up.
Mark's got this game. Did you try it yet, Mark?
I can't see the comments, so
none of us can. That's okay. Yeah, let's give it a roll, shall we? Real quick, I'm gonna.
Let's not give it a roll. Let's give it a spin.
Badoomts. Joe, comedian #1 on the spot. Let's check the comments here real quick before we launch it.
How old are?
Oh, ages? Yeah, we can do that real quick. So I am 22, almost 23. Got my golden birthday coming up on the 23rd of April. So that'll be fun. What about you, Joe?
I am 100. No, I'm just kidding. I'm 15.
He's 100 years old. Okay,
no,
you're
I'm
what?
15.
15. Okay.
Yeah.
15.
Freshman.
You ready for that high school life?
Yeah.
That sounded so exciting. Oh, yeah.
I'm basically going straight from freshman to junior, though, technically. Or kind of. Because I took, like, all the advanced classes for next year. So I'll be taking. So I'm skipping sophomore level science, and I'm taking sophomore level English and math this year. I'm also taking the AP course for social studies, which means next year all of my core classes will be junior level, but I'll be a sophomore by credits. So
nice.
That'll be interesting.
All right, let's launch this game here. Get the music back in.
Oh gosh.
Ooh, listen to those tunes.
Look at the spinner in the middle.
Yeah, here I gotta get us back to the right screen here so everyone can see.
Destroyed that box.
You guys ready for this? So we won't spend too much time because we just want to get enough information so
Maybe
that
we'll
we can.
Do like a few minutes on each mode.
Well, we just need to do a little bit. I think destroy sounds the best. So we can already give it an assessment based on what we see for the different modes. So that's already kind of cool.
From what I read in the comments, it sounded like spinner mode was literally just a spinner. Like you
right, it's probably just a spinner. Destroy looks fun. Like look at what's going on back here.
Well,
so
let's check it out, bro.
Let's do destroy mode, and then we'll give it a score. So we each get 10 points to score it, and then we give it its overall. So let's go ahead and see what this game is all about, shall we? Shall we? All right.
Whoa.
Dude, music is legit, right?
Yeah.
So I'm guessing I grab it. Oh, what?
Can you just drag it?
I don't know what I'm doing. How
Can
do I...
Does WAS do anything?
Oh, what is that?
That looks like...
That's like lighting.
Yeah.
Oh, yep, it's WASD.
WAS,
That's
man.
what it is. Oh, man. Shall we run it into this here? Let's see what happens. Okay, that's actually kind of cool.
It is.
There's something oddly satisfying about that.
You should full screen it.
Well, here I have to. No, we won't. We don't need to. It's all good.
Oh well.
Let me just move back up here. Okay. There's something oddly satisfying about smashing these cubes. I'm just saying. I am gonna downgrade it though for the fact that I can't change my perspective unless I just don't know how. But I'm like trying with the mouse and I don't see any way to do so. And it just keeps track of how many cubes I'm destroying.
Destroyed 11. I feel like cubes are... Wait.
They are. They're
infinitely pile?
I would say they're spawning back in.
And it just infinitely piles.
Yeah. Because there is an edge. Like I hit an edge to the map over here. They have to despawn at some point, right?
I feel like they
Like
would.
you can't keep all of those elements on screen. Is there a way to speed up my spinner? Can I...
Can you like click it and drag or something?
Oops.
Oops, you
That's what I was trying to do. Like I feel like I'm missing something in the controls. I feel like we're not giving this a fair assessment.
Well, let's try third mode. See if that's different. I think we can correctly assume what spinner mode is, but third mode doesn't really give a description of what it
Third
is.
mode. Well, here, let me see if there's any game controls.
Oh, see, in this one you can move. Like, look at how this one's angled.
Yeah, that's why I'm confused. Well, here, we'll do
1920 by 1080.
Yeah.
Or no, wait. Oh yeah, 1920 by 1080.
Yeah. Full res, full HD.
Windowed.
All right.
Yeet. Third mode.
There's no control, like there's no control options, right?
There's game.
Yeah, that's it. So there's no.
Okay.
There's
Well,
no
let's see what third
descriptions.
mode is. Autist mode. This mode isn't meant to be serious. Wait, please read the info about this before you play it.
No, we're gonna skip that one because it looks sketch. Let's just give it its last assessment from destroy mode and we'll move on. So apparently, oh, it keeps your score. That's interesting. So literally. Okay, I can't stay serious about this review anymore. Can you? Can you stay serious about this review? I can't. I can't hold it anymore.
Wait, can you like sprint using control or shift?
Maybe shift. Like if I could control the speed of it. If I could control the speed, that would make it so much better.
It's just a fidget spinner.
But this is it. This is the game, guys. This is your 50 cents.
I don't know. I think this is better than the mountain.
I disagree. I think the mountain one was better.
I
think
would much rather have this.
No. I think you highly underrated the mountain one. I loved the mountain
I
game.
didn't like the mountain one that much.
Although, okay, I shouldn't say I loved it because I only gave it a 4. But this does not seem like I'm gonna get my 50 cents worth out of this.
I probably would easily.
You would get a half hour out of this game.
I probably would, honestly.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, that's where you and I differ, brother.
I
don't think I could. So what do you give this game?
I give it a 9.
Are you kidding me?
No.
You give this game a 9?
Yeah, it's very satisfying and cool.
Are you gonna have to make me compensate for this? To give it a lower score? Lower score? Oh my goodness.
I give it a 9, and here's why. Okay, I would give it a 10.
You would almost get... Joe, we've only reviewed one game before this.
I know, but that one is just so satisfying to watch. I like oddly satisfying things.
All right. I
would give it a 10.
Give me your explanation
but
for
the
9.
reason why I knock it down 1 point is just because of the concept. It's so cringy. It's a fidget spinner. If it wasn't for the fact that it was a fidget spinner, I would give it a 10. But it's just cringy, and it's living off of the meme.
Joe, I'm so disappointed. I'm losing faith in you as a game reviewer. I think I'm gonna give it. Here is my review. I'm gonna give it. I don't know if I can give it more than The Mountain. At least it let me do something, so maybe I can give it more. I think I'm gonna give it a solid 5, because it's your average. Yeah, but I'm not gonna see. This is where it loses points for me. I'm not able to control the speed. I'm not able to control the camera. There's no control menu to show me what I can control. And I don't think I would get a half hour out of this game. And for me, I need to get an hour for every $1 I spend. So therefore, I would need to get a half hour, and I don't think I could get a half hour out of this game.
I could easily get a half hour out of that game.
Well, I don't know how, but I'm gonna give it a 5. So with that, we have a total of what, Joe? What do we got for a total?
14.
14 points.
14 out of 20. That's an average of 7 out of 10.
That's pretty good.
That's average.
It did better than the Mountain at 6.
That's average good.
I can't believe you only gave the Mountain 2.
I only gave the Mountain 2.
All right. Well, that has been your 50-cent feature. Yeet. All right. Let's catch up on chat here real quick, and then we'll move on to our next topic.
So they're talking about the whole grade thing that I mentioned before. How I was
grade thing? Oh, what grade you were?
Yeah. And how I
how you're a grade ahead without actually being a grade ahead in some categories.
About the school system.
Our school system was interesting in the fact that it's separated out. I don't think it's this way everywhere, but no, I don't think it is at all, because there's a middle school, but we had our 9th grade at the middle school, and our 6th graders were at the elementary level. But then they changed it, and we had 2 middle schools, but only 1 high school. Yeah. Which was really odd too.
Well, and they weren't called middle schools; they were called junior high.
Well, junior high, yeah.
But then they changed everything so that there was, well, what Zach said. We have K through 5 at elementary, 6 through 7 at the middle school, and then 8 through 9 at the junior high.
And what gets really confusing
at the high school.
What gets really confusing now too is one of the junior highs or the middle schools are
and 4K. That's also that's at one of the elementary schools.
But am I correct in saying this, that the middle schools are on trimesters, but the high school is still on semesters?
Everybody's on trimesters except for the
starting next year, or starting.
Everyone's on trimesters already.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it was 2 years ago they put the high school on trimesters. Last year they put the middle school on trimesters, and this year they put the junior high on trimesters, and next year they're shutting the junior high down. So.
Yeah. It's been a crazy transition, but yeah. Let's move on to our failures, brother. Shall we? Failures. Do you want to go first on this one, or do you want me to take it because you did fears first?
You take it.
Okay, so failures. I would say one of my biggest failures. I gotta think of that for a second. Hold on. Do you have one on mind, or I'm trying to think?
I kind of do have one. Do
you really have one already? Oh my goodness, you can think of that so fast. Yeah. See, I'm so bad in job interviews because they ask me what's your biggest failure that you learned from or whatever, and I'm supposed to answer that. But if you have one, do you want to go first then?
Yeah, sure.
I just failed. See, I'm such a failure. Oh my goodness.
You fail at job interviews.
I fail at job interviews. Yeah. I fail. Look at that. I'm such a failure. I fail at so much.
Well, see.
Do you have a specific example though?
Yes. So in 5th grade, I hated one of my teachers, my social studies teacher.
Wow, just flat out say it, huh?
I will say it flat out because everything was based off this project sort of thing where it was literally like a packet we had, like a packet of folders. And it was literally just you color, cut, and pasted all these things. And I was like, I already know all this stuff. I learned it. I do good on my quizzes. Why do I have to do this stupid packet thing? Because it was just color, cutting, and pasting. That's all it was. And it was like a huge assignment. And I kind of like half worked toward it. Like, I didn't do it quite 100% like I should have. And I ended up getting like a really low grade on it. And
so you just didn't want to do it?
So I did it, but I didn't put my entire effort towards it. And I think your camera's frozen or something. Maybe
no,
not.
It's not frozen.
No, it's not.
I was just trying to process what you were doing.
And I did really bad on that assignment. And I've learned from it since then.
Well, that's good. That's good you've learned from that.
And I blamed the teacher for it, but honestly, it was just me not trying.
Blame the teacher?
Because I was like, this is garbage. And it was garbage, honestly. But it wasn't her.
Oh my gosh.
You
didn't turn it in?
I turned
Mom is calling you out.
That one that I'm talking about, I did turn in. But there was another assignment that went along with it. It was another packet that went, like, all the informational sheet. That one, I had it done. But I didn't turn it into the thingy.
This is a good moment here to interject. One of the biggest moments, the biggest failure in Joe's life. It was when... Okay, wait. We got to set this up better. So, there is this thing at our elementary school. Natalie and I, my sister Natalie and I, both went through it, called Civil War Day. And this was in 5th grade, correct, Joe?
5th grade.
5th grade is Civil War.
It was
you get a Civil War Day
for you guys, but when they moved the 6th graders over, they changed to 5th grade.
Right, but they had some of the same people. So, with this Civil War Day, basically it was during our Civil War unit where where the students, they would teach us about the Civil War, and then they would divide us up between the North and the South, and we would go to this camp that was nearby, the YMCA camp, and we would do a Civil War reenactment day. So we would dress up in, the blue tops with the or gray if you're Confederate. They ordered hats for us. It was really cool. We did drills, and then we had like a mock battle where we actually fought it out, and you could see some of the statistics of how many deaths were on each side, kind of deal. It's really cool experience. With the experience, there's also the brig. And this is where, if students didn't have assignments done before the day,
or if they were misbehaving,
during the day, they would put you in the brig for bad behavior or for missing assignments. And Natalie got through without being in the brig. I got through like an angel not being in the brig. But there is one sibling that didn't make it through without going to the brig.
See? And I regret doing that. I regret not turning in my assignments. I would have a lot of... every single one of those assignments that were missing, they were done.
They were done. You just didn't turn them in. Why didn't you turn them in, Joe?
Well, it was...
Why?
Mostly because, first off, I would usually just leave them in my locker, and I didn't want to go back and grab them. The other thing was, I just was like, why do I need to turn this in? I had a feeling of apathy towards it because I thought it was useless. Because it was just color, cut, and paste. Which is not useful at all. I aced all the quizzes. I aced all the tests. But I think I ended up coming out of her class because of that one major assignment and a few ones that I turned in late. I ended up with a C- in our class, I think.
Worst
grade I've ever gotten. Worst grade I've ever gotten.
Worst grade you've ever gotten. My
class.
worst one. Wait, you got a C-?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
My worst grade, I think, was a C+. And that was a mistake. Once again, I'm not going to name names, but this teacher didn't enter my test grade before the marking period was up, and then it didn't get entered into the system, and there was no way to get it in after the grades had been submitted. So I was a little upset because with that grade in there, I would have had a B-, and I would have never dropped below a B. That changed in college, though. I think I had a C in college, but that's all right. That's all right. I made it out. I have a job. I'm doing all right. I think I'm doing good for myself.
Interesting story about grades.
Yeah.
This year, there was like this little issue with so my science teacher, he's an awesome guy, great science teacher, one of my favorite teachers I've ever had, actually. But he decided on one of these things that was supposed to be so at our school. For the science grading category, there's 3 categories.
Okay.
There's the tests category, which is 50% of your grade, and then there is the classwork, which is 20%, and then the other 30% is a category called lab assessments. Well, we had 2 lab assessments throughout the whole thing, and quite frankly, here's a failure on my part. I kind of didn't do good on the first one.
Yeah. Hold on that real quick. Good night, Rebecca.
Good night.
Thank you for joining us today. Have a good night and have a good workout in the morning. We'll see you next time.
Yeet.
Yeet. All right. Go ahead.
Okay, back to my story. So I kind of derped on it. He was very nitpicky about well, he wasn't nitpicky. I just flat out, like, there was a few questions, like, I think there was 2 questions that I entirely forgot to write my answer in. I solved the work on the side. I just forgot to put it in the blank for, like, 2 of them. And then, like, there were other parts where my handwriting was so bad that it was, like, unreadable.
Yeah.
So, like, he didn't know what I was trying to answer. So I think I got, like, a C on that project, on that grade. But then when we had our other lab assessment, which was supposed to be my saving grace, because of that one, it was like almost impossible for me to get an A in the class. I was stuck with an A-.
Yeah.
No matter how good I did on everything else, the only way I could save was if I did good on the other lab assessment. So I was like, oh, I really gotta do good on this lab assessment. So I like worked super hard and I got 100% on that lab assessment.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, my grade's gonna be corrected. But then the teacher made a mistake and put it in the coursework category instead of the lab assessment. So I was stuck with an A- until like the whole trimester. And then at the very end of the trimester, man. I sent him an email bringing it to his attention.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, yeah, that was an accident. And he corrected it. And then my grade went back up to an A. And I was like, ah, yes.
Oh, my goodness. Well, yeah, you're super conscious about your grades. You want it to be A all the time.
Except for in English and gym.
Yeah. But you're doing all right.
Other than English and gym,
you're doing good.
If I don't have an A, I'll probably be freaking out.
Yeah, you don't take that very easily. That's a fear.
I guess.
Joe, we're moving back in our topics. All right, I'm going to talk about one more failure I had because my mother brought it up, and I should probably address it.
Oh.
It probably was my biggest failure that I can think of, other than letting my weight get too far. But, I mean, that's just an overall failure. But I think my biggest one was when I was, how old was I? I can't even remember. I was young. I was old enough to understand that my actions had consequences, but I was young enough that I was still learning that concept, if that makes sense. So basically, I was riding my bike in our driveway, and my grandmother was watching us, like me and Natalie, as we were playing. And I was having fun because I was riding my bike between the cars like a daredevil. You know, you only have about like this much room between your handlebars and the car, and you're risking it all. And it was so much fun. And my grandmother told me, I think you should stop doing that, James. Or no, it wasn't I think. It was, you need to stop doing that, James. You're going to end up scratching one of the vehicles. And I said, just one more time. Just one more time, and I'll be done. So I disobeyed my grandmother's instruction, And I decided to go one last time. And as I drove that last perilous time through the vehicles, I hear the deafening screech of my handlebar scraping the paint off the metal of our brand new van. Brand new van. Like we had just purchased this thing. And all the way down the side, there was a long scratch spanning the 2 doors and onto the back panel of the car. Let's just say things did not go well for me. My parents were very upset. Pretty sure my dad didn't even have words for me right away. And after, like, I want to say it was a good 2-3 days, they finally had come up with the perfect punishment. And it was literally like working off the money for the door on the vehicle,
which was astonishingly high
because it was gold flaked paint.
Yes, the person who sold it to them decided to put gold flakes, actual gold flakes, in the paint.
So
it costed
it was a lot.
Crazy
It was a lot, and because of that, I basically worked a whole entire summer. Anytime my dad was like, "Hey, we gotta go do this," no matter what I was doing, I had to go do it. And it was a well-used punishment. Let's just put it that way. It was yeah, but it was also well-deserved. I should have listened and not done what my grandmother told me not to do. So I think that was one of my biggest failures. On top of that, I think after this topic, so now we're done with that one. We can maybe cover more later, because I will come up with more failures. I know I've failed more in my life. I've gone through almost 23 years. I've failed plenty of times, but more than I can just share in one broadcast. Are you
sure you've never failed, James?
Oh no, I failed many a times.
Everybody has.
Everybody has, and
everybody makes mistakes.
That was cheesy, Joe.
Whatever.
Anyway,
my life is cheesy.
We've got about 10 minutes, or not? Yeah, about 10 minutes to cover this last topic. So let's just do one of your most favorite field trips. So do you have a favorite? What was your favorite field trip so far? Because you have more to come yet. Yeah. I already know my favorite field trip. So.
I actually have a field trip not this Friday, but next Friday. And
oh, really?
Also,
where are you going?
Well, we're going to the Kalahari with student council.
That's pretty fun.
And then, even more busy, after that, we have the weekend. Then on the Sunday, I leave for state FBLA, which is a 3-day field trip.
Another field trip.
So, like...
Boy, you got field trips all over the place.
And then Festival of Nations, I don't know when that is, but that's later on. So I've got,
one of the Dells and state... oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one you're talking about, right?
Yep.
That's cool. You're going to Zach? That's awesome.
Yeah, he's going to state FBLA. And that's right. He's in student council, too.
Cool. All right. Well, do you have a favorite one that you've been on so far, or do you want me to go first?
Favorite field trip? You know, even though I was in the brig, I still think Civil War Day was amazing.
Is that a field trip, though? Was that a field trip?
I think that'd be a field trip.
Okay.
Because we didn't drive a bus to somewhere else. We drove it all the way out to the Lions Club.
Oh, you guys did it at the Lions Club?
Yeah.
See, we did ours at the YMCA camp over that way.
Oh. See, we did ours at the Lions Club. And it was... I just loved it because I was a medic.
You were a medic?
Yeah, I was a medic.
That's awesome. So did you get to haul people off?
No, because I got injured in the fight. So, but it was fun because
what a great medic you were, Joe.
I got a gut wound.
A gut wound.
But anyways, so no, I was a medic, and basically what that meant is, while all the other people were pitching their tents and like setting up and readying for the fight and like doing all this work, and Mr. Sigourney was yelling at them like, you, like, as the captain, like, he was trying to be as realistic as he possibly could be towards with a Civil War. Like, he did not take it lightly.
He's intense.
He was intense. Both the Confederate and the other
I remember.
general. Well, I was a medic, and because of that, the science teacher pulled us all aside during that time and was just like, this is supposed to be realistic to the time era, and we're supposed to be really harsh on you, but right now, I have to be your teacher because we have to teach you what the medics do and how to do all the medic stuff. So, like, we sat down and we, like, talked nicely over what all this stuff was and, like...
So you got out of it?
Pretty much. I got out of the really intense part, and I only experienced the fun parts.
That's funny.
Mrs. Appleby. That was another good teacher I've had in the past.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think my favorite field trip was... It was the last year that West... which was our junior high, was going to be West. And then after this, it was going to become Rams. You know, and they were changing it because they were splitting up the schools, or no, they were combining schools to make 2 separate junior highs. And it was changing the whole format of everything. So to celebrate the last year of West being West, they took the entire school to a baseball game. I think it was a Brewers one, I believe.
Probably, considering that's the closest one.
Yeah. So we all went to a Brewers game, and I'm not a big fan of baseball. Like, I don't watch baseball that much, but it was still fun because we got to go with all of our friends. Like, no matter what class you were in, you all got to go on this baseball trip. And we ended up getting this this fry bucket, or not bucket, but cap, where it's shaped like a baseball cap. And it came with a bunch of fries with cheese over the top. So we each got one of those. And then we had a souvenir for afterwards to take home. And to this day, I still have that souvenir.
Is it that cereal bowl?
Yes. It is that's the baseball cap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's shaped, and it's got the Brewers logo on the front. I don't know, that's kind of worn off over time.
It's still
but
really good, though.
it's a big, nice bowl.
It's a nice
It's a
bowl.
great bowl. It's one of my favorite bowls.
Hey, you want to tell them the story of your Dell's field trip for 5th grade with the upside-down White House?
I didn't do the upside-down White House.
I know you didn't, but you had a story from it, didn't you?
No, I had a story from a haunted house.
Oh, I thought that was the upside-down. Oh, the haunted house.
Okay, so here we go. This fits in with fears and field trips. Miller Park. Yes. See?
Perfect for ramen soup.
He knows exactly what I'm talking about. Zach knows.
It's great.
Yeah, it's a good bowl. But no, this field trip story. So this was one back from Safety Patrol, and what Safety Patrol was it was it still goes on, but basically students get assigned to a post for Safety Patrol where you help students cross the road, and to make sure that they have a visibility thing on them so that you're seeing where the students are crossing. But you can hook us up with more. Ooh, I would like more of those. That would be great. As long as I don't get mixed up with my my current one, because that one holds special value in my heart. But anyway, if you did good on Safety Patrol and you showed up on time and you helped students out and you did a good job, as long as you did a good job, you got to go on this field trip at the end of the year. And it was always to the Dells. For those of you that don't know, the Dells is the water park capital of the world. And yes, that is here in Wisconsin.
Pretty much the only thing in Wisconsin.
Yeah, it's the biggest thing.
Farms.
It's one of the biggest attractions, I would say. Well, no, because there's a lot of hunting and fishing and
hunting
camping.
Up north, dairy farms in the middle, and down south of Wisconsin is where you get all the the bigger cities.
Well, and there's fishing. There's fishing too. Fishing is good.
Hunting, fishing up north, I'd say.
But then then there's the Dells, smack dab in the middle of everything.
Yep.
So we would go on this trip to the Dells, and students would get the chance to pick what things they wanted to go to. Somehow, this haunted house won, even though that's another big fear of mine, actually. I do not like haunted houses that much. One, I'm afraid of them because they just scare the crap out of me, which I know is their intention. But two, because I'm afraid that I'm going to hurt someone. And I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want a lawsuit on my hands, okay? So, there's 2 big reasons I don't like haunted houses. But I was pretty young at this point, so second reason probably doesn't apply. But they lined us all up. They got us out of the bus. They lined us all up. And I would say I was pretty close to the front of the line. But there were a few kids before me. And they would go in. And literally within, seconds, these kids would come back to the door like, let me out, screaming bloody murder. It was terrifying. It was a terrifying experience. And of course, they would let the kids out. But after the first few groups, so I think I was the last one to go in where they actually let us out, because we went in I don't know. It was so terrifying. There was like someone behind like see-through walls that would be like creeping at you. It was a terrifying experience, and I couldn't take it. I couldn't do it. So I was one of those kids that turned back and was like, "Let me out, let me out," and they're like, "Okay, fine." And I think they were upset. They were mad because students were turning around, and it makes sense
and they spent money on it.
Because they spent money on it, yeah. But they were upset, so they're like, "All right, this is the last kid we're letting out of here. So all the rest of you, if you go in, you're going through the entire thing." And I'm like, I could not make it. There's no way I could make it. So basically, they were giving a warning, like, if you can't make it through this, don't go in because we're not letting you out unless you go through the entire thing. So yeah, that was another good field trip though, because we went to like the water parks and stuff, and it was fun. You got to hang out with friends. And
my experiences with haunted houses or scary movies or anything of that sort, I never get frightened by them.
See, now scary movies, I'm okay with scary movies because I know it's not real.
And with haunted houses too, but I'm just like,
yeah,
I know it's not real. So.
Yeah, but see, haunted houses is different for me because I'm actually there, and it's harder to judge intention.
This makes me think of the Fright Fest that our school put on for Halloween.
Yeah, so cover this one last thing, and then we'll do a random fact, and then we'll be done. Okay.
Okay.
So Fright Fest. Go.
Fright Fest. It was like a thing where they had us like go through the basement of the school because there's actually a basement of East. It just isn't like they never use it for anything.
Okay.
Well, one of the groups there got the principal to let them set up a haunted house through it and act in it. Well, they did this, and I was like, my friends and I were just like, man, let's just troll them a little bit.
Yeah.
So we all agreed to go at the same time, and we all go through it, and we literally just like go up to the people. Like there was one point where there was like a person like banging on a window, like,
oh my gosh.
I just like walked
that was
up
a great
to it.
face.
I just walked up to it and I waved like this and said hi.
You troll.
And then they just like, they had like this weird look on their face, like I don't know what to do. And then they just like kept doing it. Or like there was a person like sitting in the middle, like crouched up with like all creepy makeup and like chains on their side. And I was like, I like looked at them and I was like, hello, what's wrong? Do you need counseling?
Do you have no fear in your soul? Do you have no fear whatsoever?
For haunted houses, no, because I know it's all fake. And I was like, and I was also with friends, so I think that made it a little bit easier.
That probably does make it a little easier, yeah.
So
interesting, Joe. You are a mega troll for haunted houses. All right, give us one last random fact before we end the stream here, bro.
Let's have a vote. Which
No,
book
we know what page though.
Yeah, we know what page, but what book?
So, is there anyone out there who's interested in picking a book? Go ahead and list through them, Joe.
Let's not do the brown one because
I know Zach's not, but let's see if anyone else is.
We have red.
We'll do page 194. Don't worry,
green,
Zach. Don't worry. I got page 194 just for you.
And blue.
Red, green, black, blue. If anyone wants to pick a specific one, now is the time. What?
I just pinched my nipple with the books on accident. Because I like picked it up and it came back down and it hurt.
Well, that's what you get for being live, folks.
Oh.
Hi, Natalie.
Here.
Nice. You want to give us a book color? Otherwise, we'll just pick one. Yeah. Just pick one, Joe. I'll pick one. Blue.
Wait, go to www.randomcolor.
No, I picked one. Blue.
Fine, blue.
Blue. Blue is my favorite color, so we're doing blue.
Okay, let me just sit down all these other books. Okay, I have the blue one. On page 194.
194.
Let's see what that is. On 149. Gotta go ahead a few pages. That's a little too far.
So while Joe searches for
Wedding chatter.
Oh, okay.
It's a page about different quotes from people about weddings. Go
for it.
Better to have loved a short man than never to have loved a tall.
What? What? Wait, what is this now? What was the topic again?
It's about wedding.
It just says weddings?
Well, it says wedding chatter is across the... Here, you can...
Chatter?
Wedding chatter.
That other title. Did you see that other title?
Yes, I do see that. I just now noticed that.
What kind of books do you have there, Joe?
I didn't even notice that the first time. I only looked at 194. I didn't notice the next page.
Oh my goodness, brother! This is a clean stream, bro. This is a clean stream. We don't show that stuff here. Get back down to earth here, bro.
Here,
oh my goodness.
A better quote from Andrew Jackson. Heaven will be no heaven to me if I do not meet my wife there. By Andrew Jackson.
That's a sweet one. That was a sweet one.
And there's this one. Love is a game that two can play and both win. By Eva Gabor.
I like some of these quotes. The only one I really didn't get was that first one.
There's a few in here that I'm not saying because they're a little inappropriate, but
not appropriate for this stream.
I'm so in love. Every time I look at you, my soul gets dizzy. By Jesse Tyler.
Oh, you're reading all the nice ones, Joe. All right. Well, thank you, Joe, for that random fact.
They're not really facts, but oh well.
Random information. Random whatever, Joe. It's random. That was 195. That was 194.
I'm not reading 195.
We're not reading 195. We want to keep it clean. Keep it clean on this channel. All right. Well, with that, don't forget to leave a like on this video because it really does help us out. And go ahead and share the news that the Basement Brothers are doing a show every Wednesday night. If you got people that are interested, we love to have them join us for this conversation, this wonderful time together. Just chatting it up and shooting a breeze, as Joe learned when we were first starting this, right, Joe?
Shooting a breeze.
Shooting the breeze. Don't forget to click that bell, get that notification, because otherwise you won't get it at all. And with all that being said, you guys have a nice week, and we'll see you next time on The Basement Brothers.